we've talked a lot in the recent days about artificial intelligence and how its rapid developments could disrupt the ways that we live and work, for better and for worse. But there's another emerging technology on the horizon with even greater potential to revolutionize society: quantum computing. Stay with me. And theoretical physicist Michio Kaku is drawing attention to the possibilities it could hold for the future, with the power to solve problems millions of times faster than the digital computers we use today. He breaks it all down in his new book, Quantum Supremacy: How the Quantum Computer Revolution Will Change Everything. Michio Kaku joins me now. I'm such a pleasure to talk with you in person. Great to meet you. So, before people say, I'm not going to pay any attention to this because the word quantum is in it, what exactly, can you tell our viewers, is this idea that you have put forth?
Well, every Christmas, we assume that our toys are twice as powerful as the previous Christmas. That can't go on forever. It's slowing down now. A new revolution is about to emerge. Right now, we put 1 billion transistors on something the size of your fingernail. That's going to be obsolete in the future. Silicon Valley could become a rust belt as we go to the next step beyond digital. You see, Mother Nature doesn't use digital. Mother Nature does not compute with zeros and ones, zeros and ones. Mother Nature computes with the quantum, that is, with electrons whizzing around molecules. That's why we don't have a cure for cancer or Alzheimer's or Parkinson's disease or the aging process. All of that takes place at the molecular quantum level. And now, for the first time, we have quantum computers that on certain limited tasks are millions of times more powerful than the corresponding digital computer. And in the coming years, we hope to replace all the digital computers of today, just like the abacus is no longer cutting-edge science.
So talk to me about some practical applications that folks can understand. So if we agree that quantum works in nature and that it's going to be so much faster than anything that we have right now in terms of calculating and doing research, what are some areas of our lives that we would see different and improved?
Well, immediately, medicine, because all medicine takes place at the quantum level. Cancer, Parkinson's, all the diseases that we are accustomed to hearing about, the aging process, all of that takes place at the molecular level. And quantum computers can allow us to translate and understand the mechanism by which cancer and Parkinson's and ALS operate. And so this is going to create a revolution in medicine, new drugs, new therapies. Not to mention energy. We have fusion plants that for the first time can generate as much energy as they consume. That could be the future in the coming decades, not anytime soon. But quantum computers can speed up that process by stabilizing the hydrogen gas in a fusion reactor and creating a super battery. Why don't we have this solar revolution that everyone talked about for the last 50 years? The bottleneck is not the solar cell. The bottleneck is the battery. How do you store the energy when the sun doesn't shine and the winds don't blow? Everyone forgets that. Well, quantum computers can create a super battery because they can mimic chemical reactions. Now, digital computers can't do that. You can't put chemicals together inside a computer and have it calculate. Quantum computers can do that because quantum computers compute with atoms rather than with transistors. You know, the digital revolution is based on zeros and ones, zeros and ones, zeros and ones. That's called the digital revolution. But Mother Nature does not compute that way. When you go outside and see flowers and you see plants and insects and life is quantum. And that's what we're doing now. We're beginning to understand the language of Mother Nature.
So, of course, the challenge is that, from my understanding as a layman, that quantum computers are very, very, very expensive to make and to produce. So where do you see manufacturing catching up with what the possibilities are that you're talking about?
Well, if we use Mother Nature as a guide, realize that Mother Nature already has quantum computers. They're called leaves and flowers, photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is a quantum process, and we're just beginning to mimic that. Now, why are quantum computers expensive today? We have them, but they're expensive because you have to cool them down to near absolute zero. So there's no vibrations that'll disturb that calculation. Now, Mother Nature can do it without cooling things down. Mother Nature operates at room temperature. So we're just beginning to understand how Mother Nature can do it. So we're basically following nature's course. Nature is quantum. That's how nature calculates drugs, diseases, therapies. All of that is done at the quantum level. And how do we as humans understand medicine? By trial and error. By trial and error, we find the next super drug. Can you imagine finding the next super drug by pushing a button on a computer and having the computer simulate the motion of a drug inside your body? That's going to revolutionize all of medicine. Medicine will no longer be done with test tubes. It'll be done with quantum computers.
And we've been talking a lot, and I've talked a lot to folks who are talking about the ChatGPT and the predictive test and how that's going to change things. But what you're talking about is not necessarily how ChatGPT will collect data, will look at all the research, and then will make predictions based on what it's seen. With quantum computing, what you're saying is that basically a virtual lab will be built where the quantum computer very quickly will be able to assess what medicines and what treatments would or would not work based on our existing biology. Is that right?
Exactly. Right now, you have thousands of test tubes and hundreds of man hours trying to duplicate reactions in a chemistry laboratory. So when you go to a medical laboratory, it looks like a chemistry laboratory. But in the future, it'll be done in the memory of a computer, because that's how Mother Nature does it. Mother Nature doesn't need all these test tubes and things like that. We're talking about cutting through all that to create new technologies, new therapies, using the memory of a quantum computer. So think about that. This is going to change everything. The digital computer changed the world economy. There's a race now going on between China, Google, IBM, Microsoft to attain the first commercially viable quantum computer. Because whoever does that could rule the world economy of the future. In the same way that the people who rule digital technology rule the digital economy, the future of the world economy will be quantum.
All right, let's talk about the downsides. Of course, we're sort of playing catch up when it comes to Facebook, which has been here for a long time. We're not exactly showing a lot of appetite from our lawmakers to be able to get out ahead of some of the things. Of course, some of the GPT folks have come forward and said we need regulation, although some people think that was just sort of a bone they threw to Congress, since Congress probably won't do anything. What are some things that we should be concerned about now, then, about quantum computing?
Well, the problem with quantum computing is that it's so powerful, it could break any known digital code. You realize that banking transactions, Bitcoin, the stock market, you have to protect the crown jewels of your investments. The military has to protect its codes for nuclear weapons. A quantum computer is so powerful that in principle, in the future, not today, but in the future could break any known digital code. And so is the CIA worried about it? Yes. Documents released from the CIA show that, yes, they're monitoring this very carefully because the nations of the world are in a race to perfect this technology, which in turn could allow them to break right through all the codes established by some of the leading computer companies over the last several decades. So the National Institutes of Standards, the old National Institutes of Standards, published a guidelines recently saying, yes, the computer revolution will go digital. It means that we have to be on the lookout. It means that today it's not happening yet, but it will happen. And we have to make preparations today so that we're not caught off guard in the future when somebody is able to crack right through your most treasured codes.
Michio Kaku, I want to take a little bit of a turn. I know that in your teaching you do a lot of explanation of science fiction and what is possible and what is impossible and what's completely just fantasy. I'm just wondering, with so many movies we've had out that have had the word quantum in them or talking about string theory and multiple universes, do you feel that people are maybe becoming more literate or more curious about the real actual scientific ideas that are underpinning these fantasies?
Well, I think it's a good thing that science fiction is gradually catching up to physics. It used to be that science fiction was going to the planets, going to the moon, going to Mars. That's old hat. We've been there. We've done that. We've been to the moon. We've been to Mars. Now we want to go into hyperspace and we want to go into the metaverse. And so that's what the movies are about. They're discovering string theory, quantum mechanics, because all these things about the multiverse, all this language comes right out of physics. And so finally, science fiction writers are saying, we're not going to go back to the moon again. We've been there too many times. Let's jump into the multiverse because that's where quantum computers live. What is the power of these computers? They compute in multiple universes. That's why they're so powerful. A digital computer computes in one universe. The quantum computer computes in the multiverse. And who's catching up to this jargon? Marvel Comics.
Thank goodness for Marvel Comics. I appreciate you, Joe. I really enjoyed the book, and I'm so happy that you were able to join us. And I look forward to whatever happens over the next 10, 15, 20 years. Michio Kaku, thanks so much for joining us today.
My pleasure.